Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about C8 Corvette, the 2020 mid-engine, but we're not going to be doing it out here. It is much too windy. So let's take a little seat in the Sebring Orange Grand Sport convertible. Looks like a nice place to have a conversation about Corvette. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch some of our bash coverage. I attended the National Corvette Museum's annual event this past weekend. I attended only 2 of the 3 days, and boy, did we just had a blast talking with you guys. And as I mentioned in the most recent video, one of the things I really look forward to going down there to see is the Chevrolet seminars. The data that they provide for us down there is sometimes never given to us anywhere else but that event. So being there, capturing it, and having the ability to share it with you here on the vlog is really enjoyable for me. So thanks again. If you didn't catch that video from yesterday, I know we've been pretty busy this week, look at that one about the 2019 production stats. They went in depth on ZR1, from the aerodynamic design, from the big spoiler, little spoiler, how the aerodynamics from the front end tie into the rear end, and all together you have just a dynamic, very special car. Now, if you haven't seen that video, there'll be a link down below in the description. And again, it is action-packed, full of great information, all that fun, nutty stuff we love as Corvette people. Also, another vlog I want you to see, it's kind of the back half of the vlog, a guy I've referenced many times, and you guys have seen him a gazillion times out there on the internet. He does a great job. That is Keith at CorvetteBlogger.com. We had an opportunity to talk with him about his new special editions book while we were at the bash. That was a fun interview. If you get a chance, check that out as well. That link will also be down below in the description. But today's upload is going to be all about the C8 2020 mid-engine Corvette. It was a blast, and everybody's talking about this car now that General Motors has finally acknowledged it. At the seminar, Tadge kind of talks about that event in New York where they did the unveiling. We call it an unveiling, a reveal of at least the acknowledgement that a new car is coming and that it is a mid-engine car. And if you missed the drive-by at the National Corvette Museum, like I did, I had some video and some great pictures from so many of you, including Corvette Blogger, the National Corvette Museum, and our friends at the Mid-Engine Corvette Forum. Will follow up after the seminar segment from Tadge.
Okay, here's Mary. I had the privilege of driving Mary to that event. It was in New York, as I said. It was in a hotel right off Times Square. And so we decided to make the event a twofer because we knew we were getting to be about the time to announce when we were going to reveal the next car, the 8th generation car. So we thought, what better way to do it than take the car that we've been hiding from the world for the last couple of years and drive it right through downtown New York City, right through Manhattan, right through Times Square, and try to get a lot of attention to what we wanted to announce, which was the reveal date, 7/18/19. So this took a lot of organizing to do this. We had to sneak the car into the city, get it set up at a local garage. Mary actually had a very busy day all that day, arrived kind of just in the nick of time to get ready to go ahead and drive this car with the banner on the side with me driving. So she said, and I thought, that it was one of the coolest things we ever got to do in our whole careers at General Motors. So here we come out of our secret garage. And actually the streets were not closed. But what we did was we had a bunch of big black Chevy Suburbans trying to create a bubble around us. Because you can imagine, in New York City, lots of people gawking. Like I said, the traffic was not controlled. They didn't shut down the roads for us. They were not willing to do this. We did have NYPD on the corners trying to do a little bit of crowd control and a little bit of car control. You can see the Suburbans here. But you can also see the other cars that are just kind of mixed in with us. A couple of happy campers there. And here we are arriving at the event. This whole thing was organized by a guy in his 70s who was riding a bicycle. Here we are getting to the event. So really cool, really fun. Didn't see him, but the director of this whole show, orchestrating the whole thing, was this guy in his 70s. He was an avid bike rider. He's ridden his bike all the way across the country. I was talking to him about it ahead of time. He was riding this crappy 30-year-old woman's Raleigh bike. And he had some high-tech radios strapped to him. And he was riding out kind of in between the traffic. He rode a bike because that was the only way he could like fall back between cars when he needed to. He could be out front when he needed to. He could talk to all the people driving the Suburbans when he needed to. And he was basically the producer of the show. And he was telling me about all these fancy bikes he has, how he's into biking. And I said, well, why are you driving that 30-year-old crappy bike? And he said, it's the only bike that won't get stolen in New York City. And he went on to explain sometimes he's off the bike, he has to set it down, he has to go talk to people, he wants to be there when it gets back. So that's why he rides that bike. You would have never guessed it though, he just looked like kind of a vagrant, you know, he's wandering in amongst us, but really fun, really cool event, and it was so weird to have been essentially hiding the car from everybody for all this time to actually be out there and showcasing it. And there's a lot of articles been written, we got tons of media coverage. All we did was admit that yes, there's going to be a next generation Corvette, and yes, this is when we're going to reveal it. And so I know you guys will have a ton of questions, and like I said at the beginning, we're not going to be able to offer much in the way of answers other than what we've already revealed. So this, I go back to this picture because there was a big debate over whether we wanted to acknowledge Zora Arkus Duntov with some Easter eggs on the car. We on the program team thought this was a cool idea. This would be fun. In fact, we use those little, we call them Zora heads, as an addition to our General Motors standard ID to indicate that we're insiders. So that lets us get into places that only Team Corvette people should get. So we had these stickers made and we put them on our IDs. And I suggested when we knew we were going to do this car, I said we should really hide some Zora heads on there, because I know what will happen is there'll be the big story, and people will study the pictures, they'll find that and say, oh, that's really cool. They're acknowledging Zora as our predecessor, kind of the godfather of the Corvette, put it on the map, and it's the main reason why we're here today talking to you with 60 plus years of history. So we thought that'd be a really nice acknowledgement, and the people running the show said, no, 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 we have this all figured out. That sounds silly to us. Just the camo is fine, thank you. And I said, well, what do I do? Do I push the issue or just see what happens? So I brought a roll of Zora heads to the event. But literally minutes before Mary showed up, I pulled out the roll and I showed it to the head communications guy. He's like, that's really cool. Can I have some of those? So I peeled them off a few and I said, I'd like to put a few on the car. He's like, yeah, go ahead and do that. So right before we went out, I just went around and stuck them randomly on the car. And it turned out that it was a really fun thing because it happened exactly as we'd hoped. The whole thing got like a 24-hour news cycle. A lot of coverage, and then people started discovering it, like there's arrows pointing to where I plunked them on there, and it kind of reinvigorated the story again. So just a nice little fun thing we did. There's a few shots. The reason why we look like we're cut out and pasted into the car is because they put a big overhead LED array because you're driving through New York with Mary and I in the car, you couldn't actually see anything. You couldn't see us, we were just in a dark hole. And so the producer said, well, we want to be able to see who's driving. So they put this bright array of lights in the roof panel. It's pretty fun. Maybe we should offer it as a production option. For you guys who really want to showcase, want to make sure people see who's driving the car. So there we are. Two happy campers. Anyway, I said, the idea was to get a lot of attention. We want the world to be focused on us on 7/18/19 when we start to share the story of the next generation car. And it did just that. A lot of people really, really interested. People can be prepared ahead of time for focusing the world on the next gen Corvette. It's really important for us. You guys see, we don't advertise the car especially, and so the way people learn about it is through the media, and so we want to make sure we get excellent coverage as we start to go to market. In fact, if you want, I put this up here because this has the website if you want to keep up to date on what has been officially released. There still continues to be tons of media speculation out there, and we've said actually very little. It's funny because everybody's saying, oh, why are you guys taking so long? Why are you late? Well, we haven't even announced anything. We just announced that we're even doing the car, so how could we be late? Anyway, so this website will keep you up to date on anything that's going on officially through us. And what we're showing you here, you may have seen it already, is the new cross flags for the new car. And this is actually the startup animation in the center stack. So when you get in the car, you know how your car starts up, and it says Corvette by Chevrolet. This is the animation that you will see on the C8. So it's probably not as big a reveal as you were hoping for, but it's something. It's something that has not been official, that we have not showed to people. And we actually, Harlan is pulling it out, we actually have the first official real production badges up here that we can show you if you want to come up and look. And as an extra surprise, we already have pins made of the new cars, cross flags, and every one of you in here gets one. We'll have team members. We'll have team members in the back that are handing these out. But we thought it would be really fun for you guys to actually take away something that's brand new on the new car. So, let me see if we got anything else. Anything else? Oh, okay. So here's a parade of all of the cross flags, and it's so nice that we get to do this, starting in 1953, and now extending in the foreseeable future. We're the longest running car nameplate in history, and with the 8th generation coming, that future is somewhat assured, at least for another generation. And so you see what's happening in the auto industry. It's very tough globally. A lot of cars are ending production. Not so for the Corvette. We think the Corvette's going to be around here for a long, long time. And it's really a tribute to you all, and thanks to you all, because we couldn't do what we do without you guys buying and enjoying the product and really being at the core of the whole Corvette community. It has tentacles into the economy in a bunch of different ways, but it all starts here in Bowling Green. Designed in Michigan, built in Kentucky. We race them around the world. We sell them around the world, and as long as we can keep doing that, they'll still be a Corvette.
And we know the 3rd generation started in 1968, so don't post on the forum that we don't know when it started.
We'll see.
Write it down already.
So Kurt, did you want to say anything? I mean, this obviously the design for the new cross flags. It's an evolution of what we've had, but it does come out of the exterior studio. It's one of the small details that we work on. In addition to the whole big car, but we think about it, about how to make it more futuristic each time, how more modern and current it can be. So, Kirk, do you want to say anything about it?
Yeah, no, it's neat to have the timeline up here because you can kind of see how the flags evolved, and the modern era, I would tell you, we look to keep making the flags a little bit faster. And they sit on the nose of the car, so we see them as like a sculptural element as well. So anything we can do to make them look as fast as the rest of the car, we're kind of doing. So.
If you look around the studio, you'll see lots of aerospace kind of imagery, jet fighters, high performance machinery, and that swept wing look evokes some of the most serious performance aircraft in the military. So that may be part of the inspiration. So that's the end of our formal. It's not? But wait, there's more? Oh yeah, that's right. We have something more. I know you thought, how could they possibly do more? How is that even possible? But we do have one more thing. I think Harlan's going to take us through this. Next slide. There we go.
Okay, so the National Corvette Museum, as you know, is having its 25th anniversary, and we're going to do a raffle car. So we have reserved VIN 25 of the next generation Corvette to be the official 25th anniversary National Corvette Museum car, and raffle tickets are available if anybody might be interested in winning that special car. They're already here, and what, $25? $25, buy early, buy often, and so that's a great thing. And then there's also, and again I have to give Kai Spaney, our plant manager and fellow board member, credit for this idea. We're going to make another next generation Corvette available for the National Motorsports Park, and we'll get some ideas and plans how we would use that. That'll be announced later, but that's going to be a really exciting addition to the museum and to the Motorsports Park, to be one of the first places in the world to have the next generation Corvette. So,
I really want to thank them for making this possible for us.
So the 25th anniversary at Labor Day is after the reveal, and so we'll be here, and so that's an event not to miss, I'm just saying.
And we'll bring some cars.
It's gonna be a big deal.
And Tom Peters will be here, being inducted to the Hall of Fame.
True, yeah, I think I forgot to mention that, Tom.
So he's a kind of a double thing, because he'll be, of course, the Hall of Fame career, but then he's retired now. He could probably tell you all kinds of stuff.
So yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you at Labor Day. We haven't said where the reveal is going to be. There's an extensive process to figure out who gets to go. It's by invitation only. Very, very complicated. You can imagine all the people, everybody from, media, all the journalists, automotive journalists around the world. Obviously, our dealer body, those of us who actually did the car, everybody from Michigan, everybody from Kentucky, all our suppliers. There's influencers, there's celebrities, that you can imagine the list of people. So anyway, we're trying to compile that whole list, and the invitations will come out, and then we'll tell you where it's going to be. That was actually what we call an integration. It's actually a 2-year-old car. You've seen pictures of these cars out and about. We have no way to test them other than putting them out. You put them on a racetrack. We talk about how important aero is in here. You can only do so much camouflage. You have to test the real car, so when it gets in your hands, it's been thoroughly validated. So the answer is no. That's not the final car. It's one of the pre-production cars, a prototype car we built a couple of years ago that we've been doing development work on these last 2 years. I would guess that it's the most spy-photoed car in automotive history. So that was one of over 100 cars we actually built to test. Many of them are long gone, crashed into walls or whatever, intentionally. Safety testing.
I think we've already built more than 4 built on the GT.
As always, a great job by Chevrolet. I'm so glad they took the time to share that with us. I'm so glad that I was there to capture that so I could share it with you folks that couldn't attend right here on the vlog. And did you catch what Tadge said, that those mid-engine prototypes have been out for over 2 years? There's been over 100 cars. I guess that's why, and we shared it with you first and only here on this vlog. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. Why some of the prototype wheels are starting to show up at local junkyards. All right, real quick before I run some of the footage and some of the high-resolution pictures that have been shared all over the internet, let me address a couple of things. There's some great renders, some animations on the mid-engine Corvette. Again, guys, people say, Rick, how come you're not sharing that? In case you haven't been here on the channel, I'm not sharing that detailed stuff until it becomes actually official from General Motors. A couple of reasons why. One being that we know that what you're looking at is not the finished product. I want to share and talk about the final product with you and to you guys in the proper manner. So that's why I haven't shared any of that. And some folks had said, hey, Rick, have you gotten your invitation? Sadly, no, I haven't. I still work for the dealership, and sometimes they only view me as a dealership sales representative. Clearly, you guys know that I'm more than that. I have a lot of fun people to share with you on this Sunday's edition of Coffee with Conti. I look forward to you joining us there. Yes, I'll be on location this Sunday as well. We'll talk more about that on Friday. But right now, some cool footage and pictures of the C8 2020 mid-engine Corvette.